Okay, Lo. So I've noticed my man flu hasn't expired yet. Not. God damn it! Every summer, every freaking summer. Um, but yeah, last year it was like right in our vacation, so I'm glad it's running now. But yeah, I'm not feeling super great, but we're gonna try to do some debugging here. So we have where are you, picture? So we got some info. Let's again the main. Let's see. So we have something called Picture Manager, which is a component that sits between our API and our VMs. Um, yeah, I gave you a acknowledgement mark on the earlier stream today. We're gonna try to add those headers, but first I'm gonna try to debug something. So I know that we have handle create devbox, and the issue that occurred is during this time, Picture Manager gave a 500 response to the API, which is weird. And what it gave was an Axios error. So Picture Manager is using Axios to call something. We all need a little bit of credit or acknowledgement, at least. Maybe not credit, but like just being acknowledged that you matter. You matter, Mark. uh, let's see. Let's see. So yeah, so there is an Axios error, which means like it. So the problem here is just completely generic error. So we need to figure out where that's happening. So we have started VM with picture version, and then after that we got starting VM. So this is where something went wrong. But I'm wondering, oh, interesting. So this happened, wait, 1841. Oh, sorry, it's the other way around. Why is it this way? Wait, and we could also expand the logs here. What did Georgie say? You remove line format operation. Okay. And then run query. Oh, look at that. Bunch of stuff. So this was here, 1841. Is that an error? Sorry. Yeah, here we have it. Request failed with status code 500. This is the one. Where is it coming from? Incoming handle stream, and look at us having. Which line is having this issue? Adapters. Open telemetry. Ooh. But this, we're not getting, that sucks. So it's authorizing via PHC API. Authorizing. Okay, so this is where, okay, so I have a feeling that it's this one. But it kind of sucks that we're actually not getting any reference to any line of code. That's weird. That's a long error stack if we don't have a single reference to our own code. Okay, let's see. I've never really looked into this before, so we're posting. Okay, so we're trying to authorize. Okay, let's put that into context. So we're first. So this is related to building a template. And oh, can I put back that? I guess we can parse this on our own. Okay, here we have reinitializing. So here it starts the VM. And then it writes the files and stuff. And then VM info, waiting. Oh, sorry. So it's starting the VM, waiting for PHC API to be ready. Authorizing via. And then, but this is just a couple of seconds later, it's stopping the VM. That's weird. And then it's starting it again. Twice. Oh, wait. And then 4 seconds, it's starting it again. What the hell is this? And then it's waiting. Yeah, no, it's not. So what's happening is that we're building a template, and as part of that process, we're starting a VM. Well, we're starting it twice. First, we start it when you want to write to the sandbox, and then we restart it. So it starts it twice during the process. So it doesn't reboot on our. We are actually telling it to reboot. So that kind of makes sense here. The only thing that I'm very curious about is that it has starting VM twice. Good question. I am... Okay, I'm going to check one thing. Yeah, I'm going to check one thing. You know, I just love having colleagues that knows me very well. We're talking about after we had this incident, and we're getting to a good place. Like feature-wise, the SDK has never been a challenge. Like we've had so many features, and we just had to expose them. So the challenge for us is like pivoting the infra to do these SDK use cases, where we had some infra issues the last few days, and now we're like doubling down on helping our users quicker by giving like engineers like me easy access. You just have a VM ID or a sandbox ID, and you immediately just see all the logs related to that ID. And we're discussing where to do that. And then there's discussion. Yeah. I said I want to create like a dashboard that generates links to our different sources of logs, but we want to centralize all our logs into Grafana. And then other input is coming from, yeah, but the logs are so nice in Honeycomb. It won't look that good in Grafana, blah, blah, blah. And I say, I don't fucking care. I just want to put a VM ID that gives me that that tells me where the logs are. And it's very nice to be in an environment where you can just say that with a smiley face, of course. And people kind of get you. That's nice. Anyways, I'm not sure why I started talking about that. Yes, the one thing I wanted to check was, let's see, this report. So it's coming from, let's see if I can see it. Yes, so it's coming from the restart. It's a good question mark. It's coming from the restart. So what this could be is something we know. Which version were they using? Oh yeah, no, that doesn't matter. So one thing I'm wondering is, like, when we restart, we do a shutdown and then we start it again. So this is stopping VM. What I don't quite understand is that it's, no, I think that makes sense. It's like 3 seconds after, over 3, well, 2 seconds, I mean, over 2 seconds after. That makes sense because it writes to the file super, super fast. So it's firing up the sandbox, it's authorizing, it started, it writes the files, 2 seconds later, it stops the VM because that's the first call. And then it tries to start it again. But then 4 seconds later, it tries to start it again. And it tries to connect to it twice. You see this? So it's doing like, I think this is the problem. It's like trying to call that starting twice. And what I think we, so one thing that I've often implemented is to have like a pending state for operations. So for example, if someone tells it to start a VM and there's another request to start a VM, it checks if there's a pending operation on starting the VM. And if there is, it's just going to await the pending operation instead of running the operation again. And then both of them will get the same response. And that will be true for all the operations. And I think that would definitely stabilize this. So you can call like restart like 5 times and it would hit Picture Manager, but Picture Manager is just going to keep one of those operations running and then respond to all 5 of them running that single operation. And you would even like, and that's also a thing in this process, is like you shouldn't call restart, start, stop, start, restart, like all of these things. It should actually have like a single operation running at any time for any VM. At least that makes it more predictable. Because that, what I think happens now is that for some reason we could debug like, why are we starting the VM twice here? Maybe we should look into that in the SDK. But I think it's worth implementing operations cache, like pending operations cache. So that whenever it starts executing something on a VM ID, it puts it into like just the promise of doing that. And then if another request comes in on the same ID and there is an existing operation, it will wait for that operation to resolve itself before it runs it again, or before it runs the operation. Unless it's the same operation that's already running, then it won't even run the operation again. It will just respond with the same result. The problem is, no, I think it makes sense here to do that. Okay, so that's like just an idea, but let's see in our SDK code if there's any way it could try to call starting VM twice. But that would be a fun implementation. Let's see. So here we're building, and then we're getting down to the restart. So let's imagine it. We did restart. Maybe I created a bug in the... And how many seconds was it between the two? That's the weird thing. It's like 4 seconds between them. So it does the restart, calls starting VM, and then 4... And then 4... Wait a minute. Are there 2 different logs of starting? No, because everything's duplicated here. Waiting for reinitializing. Yeah, and then this. Yeah, exactly. So what does it call twice here? It's waiting, reinitializing. Ah! I wonder what this thing fails on. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so authorizing via PHC API. Okay, but that doesn't happen twice. That's the thing I don't quite understand. It actually fails before that. Or it would have written this. So reinitializing. Oh, okay, sorry. We can't clearly see like which request is which here. So it does do authorizing via PHC API. Yeah, so it is. Okay, no, I think it is this one. And it does make sense that we're kind of trying to authorize twice. Now, the thing is, the problem with my thoughts about like having this like pending operation tied to a VM ID is that you might start a VM with different parameters. Yeah, but still, so what it could be is like the pending state of a VM operation in this context is what you're trying to do, start, like stop, whatever. And of course the promise of doing that. And then if it's starting, like if it's restarting or shutting down and you get a shutdown while you're shutting down, it's just gonna respond with shutdown to both of those requests. But if it's a start operation, it's actually gonna wait for the first start to run the next start, because start is more than start. It's not just fire it up, it's actually authorize with it as well. So yeah, anyways, we'll see if we're gonna do that. Or if we're gonna take a look at what the source of this is. So, okay. Anyways, so I feel pretty confident that's where it goes wrong. Let's see. So where's the restart? Sorry. I'm trying to think, is there a different place here where it calls start? So one thing is inside the restart. So this has this logic of like attempting again. Oh fuck. This needs to break. Ah, fuck. That's the problem. Of course. But does this break out of the try, or does it break? It breaks out of the for loop, right? I have to ask to be sure. Does this break actually break out of the loop? Does this break actually break out of the loop? Or I hate that thing. For some reason that does the break here actually break out of the loop? Okay, so we had, that's a big issue. I can't believe I didn't see that. And I did this on the stream. Why didn't anyone say anything? Okay. Of course we have to break when we successfully do the thing. Okay, that's good. There's still a case for protecting Picture Manager. I think we're gonna create a PR because it's just a cool thing to try to implement, and then we'll create a PR for it and share it with the other team members, and then we'll see what we do about that. Fix, retry. Okay, so we're actually gonna build this, and then we're gonna, let's just run it just to make sure. And we're gonna publish this as a new release candidate. Let's see. Did one. Okay. What are we doing? We're checking if it actually runs as normal. And then we're gonna bump package JSON to RC6. Then we're gonna publish that, and then we're gonna check Picture Manager. Well, you know, we should first implement the header thing, and then we can check the Picture Manager thing. Okay, let's see. Just have to make this run. So again, this is kind of the state we're in, where I'm kind of the sole engineer pushing this forward as we are adjusting to like market fit, getting more people on board, getting processes in place, and so on and so on. This stuff happens because the reviews are going by too fast. But again, like, this is something that could happen. It's very easy in retrospect to see, oh, of course we have to break out of the loop when we have a successful. retrospects are very interesting. Like just the psychology of it, like how confident or how obvious something is in retrospect, and you kind of time travel yourself back to that moment, and you can't understand why you didn't understand it at that point. But the good thing about this bug, and this is something I always think about, it is tag RC. Is that very often introducing bugs reveals vulnerabilities in the overall system. So this was a case of that. Like if we didn't introduce this bug, we wouldn't have this error log that got us into reflecting on, well, Picture Manager isn't really protecting operations. Like when you have multiple of the same or doing operations that kind of shouldn't run when other operations run. So yeah, often good things come from it. Yeah, thanks for the kind words, Mark. I need acknowledgement these days. I had a rough morning. I wake up and there was a comment on YouTube. I made this video about how to structure React code, and I wanted to give it like a name because I really thought it was a good reflection to have as a React developer. And I called it like the constructor pattern. And I even did ask AI. Yeah, maybe that was the problem. I asked ChatGPT if there was such a thing as a constructor pattern. And it said, well, maybe it was because I put it in the context of React, and there's definitely not a concept of that. Anyways, so there's this policing engineer. It's kind of like, oh, you can't use this term here. You're confusing junior devs and they might not get a job. And if they're asked about the constructor pattern in an interview, they're not going to get a job. And I was like, he was really tempered. No, tempered is like, yeah, I felt like he overreacted a bit. But anyways, you take it to heart still. Yeah, interesting. Anyways, so yeah, I needed some acknowledgement today. Yeah, reality is the code. Yeah, you know what? I was reflecting on this, and I feel I like when you think about the like the time and place you're born, right? And the circumstances you're born in, basically. Like how much that is a factor of how kind of not successful, but like how it affects like how you live and how content you are with life. And it must be really rough, like getting into programming now, like being a junior developer and all this AI stuff happening. And yeah, but my partner actually had the same thing. Well, not my partner, because she went into a different business, but her fellow students, they did like they wanted to go into the schooling for going into the oil industry, which is like a big thing here in Norway. My partner is too concerned with the environment to do that, but some of her friends did. But they couldn't get a job because there was something, I can't remember, this is a few years ago, but something happened and suddenly they couldn't get a job. And then they spent like all of university kind of prepping for going into this industry. And that must be rough. But I think that's fundamentally wrong with schooling. School in general is that school should be about learning skills, not getting a job, like getting a specific job in a specific domain. It should be about getting a broad set of skills, and then encouraging people to pay attention to what skills they enjoy spending time doing. And that can lead you into a job where you're gonna feel good. Like there's so many different kinds of jobs out there that can make you feel amazing. But very often in school, you're kind of, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be this one occupation of the 100 occupations that I can think of, which is among the tens of thousands of occupations that actually exist. It's too laser focused, in my opinion. Anyways, we're diverging. Okay, so we released that. Sorry, I'm just gonna give feedback to where was this? Okay, I found another issue that could be in the code. There was a not break out of a retry loop. Okay, cool. So yeah, we took on 20 university. Yeah, they were incredulous at being asked. Yeah, to run cable grunt work. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think they're like kind of like, can you blame them? Like how society primes them for like being this, trying to achieve being this very specific thing, and they don't tell them anything about the journey getting there. And even that there is no point of choosing like a very specific point in, I'm gonna be this in 20 years. Like some people have that insane passion and it works out for them, but that's not the common thing. But yeah, when you're primed very young to become a very specific thing, and you're going to put all your effort into becoming a specific thing, everything that remotely doesn't seem to contribute to that just becomes like, no, I'm not going to do that. It doesn't lead me to my goal. It's horrible. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wish things were more about skills and not having like a title. It's very title driven. Hello there. Yeah, so we're working on an SDK. So Together AI acquired CodeSandbox, which I don't know if you know CodeSandbox, but it's like a coding thing in the browser. There's a lot of history there. But anyways, CodeSandbox built this infrastructure of VMs with some really cool technology that we are now exposing through an SDK. And I'm working on that SDK. And it's open source. And yes, I'm just doing these streams working on it because it makes me focus and get distracted, but in a good way. And yeah, it's super interesting. Like people are using this SDK to build products, specifically AI products. Maybe I want to share some of this stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna check that because I want to share some of the stuff that people have been building with this. It's pretty mind blowing. Like one company And these are startups, right? And one of them built this native app, like a iOS app, where you can just talk to the app and it actually builds apps for you. So they're running an Expo server on a sandbox, and they have an AI that takes your voice, builds the app on a sandbox, and then you get a link, an Expo link. They're using our like the host stuff we've been using. Like it's just exposing a server on the sandbox, and that link actually builds the app, and you can run it on your phone. So imagine that you fire up this app, you just say, "I want this app," and then it automates everything. Yeah, so that's what a lot of people. So for us, building this SDK and dealing with the infra, we just deal with these ephemeral environments that can be used by AI to do coding, but they can be used for anything really. But that's kind of the hype now, right? So it's very much used with AI now in different forms and colors. Yeah, I'm gonna find some links so you can check out the different products that's been built on top of this. But yeah, CodeSandbox is one of them. But it's not. Yeah, that's not AI related. What were we doing? Yeah, we're gonna do the. It's so much fun because we have such a tight iteration loop with the users of the SDK. So I'm starting to get to know some of these people, and you notice how the communication just loosens up, and like there's more emojis, there's more like, yeah, it's really fun. Okay, so what we're gonna do now? We had a user that wanted to turn off our service worker. Do we have CodeSandbox applications? There we have it. And we reflected on how can we enable that for them. And their Mark here had a good idea on passing. Yeah, I got some more context, Mark, and it was exactly that. They were running a local host process that they needed to talk to. So I did ask them about using a header, if that would work for them. I don't think I got a response on that. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Sorry, I got stuck on something else. Where are you? Oh, I hate Slack. Where are you? Okay, I'm gonna search service worker. No. Localhost. Okay, I think I found it. Okay, hey, our use case might be too specific, but during development, when we run our backend and tools locally, one of our tools is a JS script that is injected to the via script tag. During development, we have running at localhost. Oh, we have this script running at localhost 4000. Oh, okay. I don't think you can make that statement. It depends on what you're building. It's like saying, is a hammer the best tool? Depends on what you're building. But I think it's tricky to like evaluate often what's kind of the best tool for the job. And often the best tool for the job isn't necessarily the best tool for the job. It depends on who's doing the building, right? What their experience is, how confident they are, best practices, dependencies that helps you build things more reliably. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. Yeah. But anyway, so so the thing is that they're loading localhost 4000 slash inject.js. So they have a script tag. And that means in the script tag, there's no room for adding headers. So, but we could go back to this idea of a query, but instead of having, so what's interesting about this use case in isolation is that it's a development thing. So that will be a quick fix at least. So instead of like checking the query of the whole page and turn off the whole thing, we're just going to turn off the specific request to the service worker that has that query. But the thing is, why can't they use local storage? If they have this, oh, of course, because they have to call the local host. Yeah, sorry, my brain isn't working. Oh, happy to, well, at least share my perspective. You know what? I think we're at least going to create a PR for that. And then I'm going to ask them if it can work for them. So when and then we can learn a little bit about these service workers. So rewrite URL. So yes. So I guess this is where we want to parse URL dot. Doesn't it have, is it search? Yeah, search params. Get CSB. What did we call it? CSB local proxy enabled. Let's see. Local proxy enabled param. So enabled param, yeah. So, and yeah, not equal to true. Yeah, so this would fix it for them. And again, I really like the header idea, but that requires you to actually be able to apply a header to the request, which you can't do with a script tag, as far as I know. So this allows them to actually just do localhost 4000. What was it? There was a inject.js, and then they can say CSB local. Then they can do this, and it's going to work for them. Oh, sorry, false. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, good thing we tested this. Um, is not equal to false. That's the thing. Oh, I hate these. Local proxy enabled param not equal to false. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Yeah. Okay, let's make this PR and then force publish git checkout main. Configure local proxy. Git commit allow configuring local proxy by query param. Push. Imagine that. Where's the? Isn't there like a? There we go. Feed. So we have a customer that needs to be able to disable the service worker localhost proxy on specific requests. I got feedback from Mark on the stream that we could use a header, which was a good idea. But they need to use this with a script tag. So concluded that by passing a query on the specific request would be the most flexible way of achieving this. Great. Okay, so I think we have to put Evis on this. I'm gonna ask if we could let's see. CodeSandbox applications. Okay, cool. So let's jump into Picture Manager. And wait, I think I have a session. No, it's not yet. It's in an hour. Good. Oh. Anyways. Okay, so let's jump out of that and let's move into Picture Manager. Oh, there it was. Picture. Okay, I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to. Maybe there already is something here. I don't think there is. Okay, so we're gonna do like a very simple thing first, which is pending VM operations or pending DevBox operations. We're calling it DevBox in here. Of course we do. We like to have 5 different names for the same thing. And like conflicting names, ideally. Sandbox creation git source. We are the new SDK will change how. Waiting for containers not running, no start a process. This is weird. Sandbox creation, git source is suddenly broken. Fail waiting for container. Fail to set up sandbox environment. Ugh. Okay, let's jump into that first. What the hell is that? So this is during the create flow. Do we have git commit version bump? This is weird. I'm just gonna check to see if there's something bad happening. Thinking. But what is this? Failed to set up sandbox environment. I wonder where that error is. Oh, this is coming from the setup. Where specifically do you see the error? Was this where we talked about no, okay. Sorry, I'm doing a few things at the same time, so I'm a little bit. Oh. I got a user. Having issues with. Oh my god. Let's see. And then we also need in this step and error appeared looking at the setup steps. Or I guess suddenly just stopped working. Weird. Have we done any deploys? That's really weird. Why is that happening? Ah, okay. It was tracker. Oh, okay. So I think what they're experiencing is, let's see, I need to check out. Oh, sorry, not there, but Sandbox says create Git Sandbox. So I think everything's fine here. Yeah. During the cloning. Happening when setting up Git. How can that suddenly stop? Damn it! What could that be? Well, it could be that let's see. Maybe they deployed a new template. First workflow. Did you deploy a new template? Maybe the snapshot. Update my memory. Do you build a template you fork from when creating sandboxes? Has that been updated? If not, could you give me the ID you use for reference? Wait, sorry, I'm debugging something. I wonder if this is our universal template. What about our universal template? Something bad happened to it? It seems to be in a bad state. Okay, let's see. Let's go and find our universal template and check it out. CodeSandbox SDK. Let's see. Universal. There you are. No, it's good. Hmm. Tried starting our universal. Could you try again? Well, yeah, the thing is, maybe there's a bad snapshot somewhere. but that does not update snapshot on all clusters, Georgie. Yeah, I'm curious what's happening here. This sucks. I know this is boring. Maybe I should just jump off the stream because we have to figure this out. Yeah, sure. Please do. So during create, we run, let's see, where are you? Wait, what the fuck? Where did my code go? Hey, surf. Is it surf wind? No. Tail surf? No, fuck. Wait, where's all my code? We run commands run doing some git stuff. That gives the error. So it seems like the snapshot is in a bad state. Yeah, like I can tell you one thing. I'm not your typical engineer. I was never good at math. My reasoning is very creative to put it in a good to use some nice words. But I do have an ability to put a lot of complexity in my head and use that creative reasoning to come up with ideas, which is like tied to problem solving. Like that's very specific. Like it's very hard to know if you have that skill, but I kind of learned that I have that skill over the years. But my point is that what you would typically think is important basic skills to become an engineer or do programming is not really necessary in the actual real life of being an engineer working on products. There are other skills that goes into just being a freaking good human being, being nice to others. So there's a social aspect. It's empathy, being able to understand that you're building things for a user or you're writing code not only for your own sake to make the computer do what you want, but you're actually communicating code to your fellow programmers. That's empathy. So there's a broad set of skills. And I would say learning to code is like learning to write. Like everybody should learn how to write, everybody should learn how to code. Because it's a communication tool. And everybody can learn it, yes. Hello there. Which cluster? Let's see. I guess we can't see that either. Would it be possible to just try to run create and then try to create a session and run some generic command? This is too much to ask. Yeah, we don't really have that either. But one of the US clusters. Make a note that oh, we can't. I'll make a note that we expose the cluster on the created sample. Don't we do that? Let's see. I'll get back to your questions very shortly. I'm just checking something. Additional options, sandbox properties. Yeah. Let's see. Try to run create and then look at sandbox.cluster. So we know which cluster is a problem. The new SDK this is tricky. I feel very confident something is wrong with the universal template. It is in a bad state on your cluster. But then it's weird. Why does it work? I was able to build on all the different clusters. And that wasn't a problem. Dagnagit. It works fine to set up sandboxes here, and I create them from all clusters. Let's see. Yeah, so oh, you got a conversation going. Great. But it is strange. I can build templates. I can build templates for all clusters. From the universal. Okay, I'm gonna ask them. So one thing that would be useful is to know which cluster that this fails on. It would require you to do a normal create. And then check sandbox.cluster. Would that be possible? Oh, this is so strange. What are we gonna do about this? We need to help this user, but I'm not sure. Ah, what the fudge? Okay, let's try something else. We have to do something. So test TS sandboxes. We're gonna create, and then we're gonna do read node test.ts. Sandbox.commands.run. Oh, sorry. Client connect. No. Await. Client.commands run. Yeah. Whatever. You don't have to put it into file though. Let's see if this works. Yeah, that's fine. Created sandbox, sandbox.cluster. What's happening here? Hello. What the fuck? Oh, something happened. Why is it so slow? Let's see. Maybe this is part of the issue. It works fine here. So strange. Not able to reproduce here. It is very strange. So yeah, and they're passing. What could this be? What could this be? Maybe there's something about container is not running and no store process detected. Oh, it's so strange. Okay, what if I do a dedicated session? ID test. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, let's just keep testing, see if we end up in a different cluster. US0. It's really slow though. Oh, maybe this one's the bad. To connect. Oh. Okay. And then we had, okay, so we found the issue there, but it was also really slow on US4. Okay, but we found it. Great. So I have a colleague that's looking into that. I'm not on the infra side, so I can't really fix it. It should be fixed quickly, and I'll report what happened and what we are going to do to prevent it. These templates are rock solid. So I think there might be an issue. These templates are rock solid when they are properly mounted on the, I mean, they are mounted on the cluster, but I have a feeling something has been missed with our internal template deployment and these new clusters. We'll get back to you shortly. Oh, interesting. Why sandbox creation is scheduled on US0. But we aren't we returning? I'm confused. Source. Then there's something really weird going on here. Oh. Okay, we are not supposed to schedule sandbox creation on US0 at all. The Oh, hi. Sorry. uh, I'm here now. Sorry. I was helping a customer with a bug. Uh, what was the question? Um, is it Python? Yeah. If you're still there, Leo, please give me context and I'll try to do my best to answer. Yeah, like sorry. Like I typically when I do the stream, I typically do actual coding and interact much more, but I got like an issue on the sideline. I had to jump into it and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to stop the stream, and then I just got sucked into it. And you two started talking, so I was like, okay, let them interact, and then. But yeah, I got too deep into this other thing. But yeah, what was the question? Uh, our indexing is not. Let's see, tell us. We are freshers. We want to know what languages are enough for front end and back end, like the core. Um. So, what have you done, by the way? You mean with my life, or what kind of programming I've been doing? So, if you want to do front end, you have to learn JavaScript or ideally TypeScript. You don't have to learn TypeScript immediately. There's a certain freedom of learning JavaScript first. You're gonna feel super powerful and productive learning JavaScript. Not just because it's like you don't have to be concerned with types, but because it's the language running in the browser. And doing programming in the browser is amazing because it's in the browser and you can share it with people and you can build awesome stuff. So you have to learn that. And then you might as well use that language on the back end as well in Node. And there's a lot of great frameworks. You can also, like, if you want to be ambitious and build something, there's a lot of great frameworks that runs on JavaScript and TypeScript. So I would do that. It depends on what your goal is. Is your goal to learn programming, or is it to build stuff and have fun and be productive and create something of value to others? Then I would, if that's the case, then I would stick with one language. It's just less to learn, and you don't need to learn anything more than JavaScript and TypeScript to build full stack valuable tools. Yeah, so frontendmasters.com. So this is the website I always put out. They have amazing courses, and even though they have courses on JavaScript, the language, I wouldn't start there. I would start with a framework, something like not necessarily React, but maybe Vue or no, it's not wasted. Like no diving into a language is waste. Because you pick up important stuff. But like it's like this traditional example of you want to learn how an engine works, right? Do you do you do you go? So okay, you want to learn how an engine works. Do you go to your class and your teacher starts presenting each nut and bolt of the engine, like what does this do, what does this do, what does this do, what does this do, and then at the end, after 3 years of learning about each separate component of an engine, you're actually going to put an engine together, right? Or do you start with an engine and then you pick it apart, right? And I personally like that approach to learning. So if you rather jump into a high abstraction, meaning it's a JavaScript full stack framework like Next.js or whatever, Convex or like something that's like full stack, you're not going to understand programming, you're not going to understand HTML or CSS or anything. But you're going to have something that's running, that can be used, you can play with, and you can share with others, and you can make it do useful things, right? And then as you get more ambitious about what you want to do, you go deeper and you learn about what components are building up this thing. It's not a waste. It's just that HTML and CSS in and of itself can't really create much value, right? You can build a static website, but there's not much value in that. So so as opposed to like jumping into a full framework where you can actually like build something that's useful, but you will be touching HTML and CSS. So it's definitely not a waste, but there's a long way from HTML and CSS to like understanding every single thing that comes into play to build an actual application. So I would flip it around. I would find a tool that lets you build an application and learn it at a high abstraction level, and then deep dive into things as they pop up. Like when there's something you don't understand, like you're using this framework and something's not working, or you're not able to do the thing you want to do, and then you start diving, right? How do I fix this? What does this thing actually do? You start searching the web, like has other people done this? And then you just gain more and more context. So it's very like dispersed. The information you get is not like, oh, I have this book on HTML, now I'm going to learn everything about HTML. It's just extremely dispersed information popping in, but your brain is amazing at connecting the dots, and at some point in time you'll have a solid understanding of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, even though it's based on your usage of this high level framework. Discord? Yeah, I use Discord. Or did you mean like related to the stream? I didn't like, I learned programming back in the day where there weren't much more than I started by building a website, a static website, but at that time, like this is 25 years ago. uh, uh, sorry, I'm just checking the issue. So I did start there, but then jQuery came around, and then I started getting superpowers. I could like fade elements, but I didn't create anything useful at that time. It was just a personal website with a counter, and I was competing with a friend to have most counts, and you could just refresh the page. You're making me feel old. But no, take one of the courses on Front-End Masters. That's about building an actual app, building an actual thing, not learning a specific language, but actually building something. That's what you should do. Well, I think it's hard to do a roadmap. Like, it depends on your interest and what you feel passionate about and what you want to build, and so on and so on. But these courses on front end masters, they're like really, really good. They're not like these boring. There's some engineer with a boring voice showing you slides and code examples. It's a real life teaching environment with other students, and like the best of the best in the industry is teaching there. So that's kind of that's way better than any roadmap I could ever come up with. Let's see. Are forks of existing, but they fork from our universal template. Let me double check their version. Oh yeah, you're actually older than me, Adam, and you know why? You have 3 kids. I only have 2. Yeah, this is so weird. Oh, I think I know what's wrong. Wait, are we? Fuck. Git pull. So what the hell are these? Let's see. We have these. Fuck's sake. Get default template tag. So we have this template tag. And then we have, and this is being used by. For fuck's sake. Go to references. Yeah, and this is using this.default template ID. I think it is because we use template tag for sandbox creation. But that should, for fuck's sake. But we don't know. Surf Wind? Isn't Surf Wind a fucking app? Where? I think I know what's wrong. But I'm trying to open my fucking code editor and I can't find it. Why isn't Surf? What the fuck? Windsurf. That's my. That's too stupid. It's Windsurf. Let's see. CodeSandbox SDK. Git checkout main. git pull. Let's see, utils. Is it possible to check which sandboxes are on this tag and what clusters those sandboxes are scheduled to? So in the SDK, we are using a template tag for creation. Universal template tag for creation of sandboxes, so that we use the same features our users does to create templates and ensure they work as intended. Also, when we get immutable snapshots, etc. Okay, so what we're at least gonna do is we're gonna go back and do checkout decoupling. Npm run build, and we're gonna deploy 10. God damn it. That's insane, Adam. That makes you like 55 or something. Do we have our where's our sandbox templates? That tag was created when we were messing around with our clusters. It's very likely that this template tag, let's see, universal yarn link CodeSandbox SDK source.env / node modules CodeSandbox SDK dist bin CodeSandbox build / universal. Wait, why do I only have... Oh, wait, is this... Wait, did we just take... Wait. We just take US2 out of the loop. Bad gateway. Oh, I got on US 4. Bad gateway. 5 HRPH 7. Oh, this stuff is so difficult. Okay, you know what? This is taking too much time. I'm gonna drop out of the stream, and we have to do that picture manager thing later. I have some session later as well. So, okay. But this was fun. Bye for now.